Miss Willow, the Busan Ajime said, you'll be 18 next year, won't you? What about going to Powa and getting married? At that, the eyes of Willow and her mother, Mrs. Yun, grew large. Although, in fact, she lived in Gupo, some miles away from Busan, the Busan Ajime was a peddler who went about from village to village selling women's things like camellia oil, face powder, combs, mirrors, haberdashery, and matches from a bundle she carried on her head. She had been visiting Mrs. Yun's family since she was a child. The Busan Ajime would visit Ojin village once or twice a year, and always open her bundle, sell her wares, and stay overnight at Willow's house. In the villages nestling in the valleys along the foot of Maebongsan Mountain, the sky was visible as if from the bottom of a well. Ojin, a small village of less than 50 households, was particularly remote. In order to reach the closest market at Jucheon, it was necessary to cross the crests of 3 hills. Therefore, the village women waited impatiently for a visit from the Busan Ajime. Among the items in her bundle, they rarely bought anything but packets of needles or some matches, all the other things being too expensive for them, but still they were a feast for the eyes. And hearing news of the outside world from the Busan Ajime, who journeyed all over the region, was a feast for the ears. That evening, the women who had filled the room went back home, while Willow's younger brothers, Gwangsik and Chunsik, went across to their room to sleep. As she unfolded the bedding, Willow eyed her mother for some reaction to the unexpected talk of her marriage. She had never heard of a place called Powa. The same was true for Mrs. Yun, for whom the name was unfamiliar. Powa? Where's that? Her mother's expression was a combination of delight and anxiety. Willow knew the cause of her anxiety. No matter how good a marriage candidate the man might be, it was going to be difficult to find the money to prepare a new set of bedding to take as the bride's contribution. Before she was born, her father, Schoolmaster Kang, had nourished the ambition of passing the state examination, restoring the fortunes of his impoverished family, and transforming the corrupt world. On passing the first part of the exam, he was entitled to be called Chosi-kang, but then the examination system was abolished. There could be no greater disaster for Chosi-kang, who had been doing nothing but preparing for the exam. Not only was the paltry financial aid he had been receiving from his family cut off, but his father-in-law also went bankrupt and could not help. A yangban without an official position and without money was like a tasty-looking rotten apricot. Chosi-kang set up a scrivener's office on the marketplace in order to earn a living, but they were so poor that Mrs. Yun was obliged to earn money with her needle. Then wealthy Mr. An invited Chosi-kang to become the schoolmaster in Ojin village. 8 years ago, when Willow's father passed away, a shadow like that of a mountain fell over her family home, even on clear days, together with a heavy silence. When the eldest son died 2 years later, the shadow over the house settled on her mother's face.
Thank you for listening to this clip provided to you by Macmillan Audio. To hear more, look for this title wherever audiobooks are sold.